He'd also like to make it easier for customers to access customer support and service. And he also liked to figure out if the cloud could help him collaborate with his team.
Well, Bob, meet the cloud. The cloud is a web-based interface that allows users to create or edit or modify their documents and data. And they can store it on a server that is, it's actually several servers put together. And what that means is that if one server fails or goes down, then there are several other servers to pick up that slack so that they're able to keep all that data. There's no loss or corruption of any data if anything happens to it. So it's very safe and very secure way to keep any documents or applications, programs all on the cloud, and it'll keep it safe. So now Bob's probably wondering, well, what can the cloud do? I guess I sort of understand how it goes, but what are the types of services the cloud offers? Well, the first type of service is called storage as a service, and so that's what I was just referring to as far as any data or documents can be uploaded on there, and it's usually they can be either a subscription fee, you can pay by the month to use the cloud services for storage, or sometimes they'll charge you by the gigabyte. So the more data you upload, the more charges you incur. So it's a really convenient way to access your data from just about any location. You can use it on your smartphone, your laptop, your iPad, any sort of tablet, and you can just pull it right off the cloud. You can download it, work on it offline, and then upload it later on, and it's going to all be there. The second sort of, there's one type of program called Dropbox that's really useful as far as a storage as a service device. It's a free to start file sharing system where you can save your files onto the Dropbox servers, and then you can break them up into files and put them into folders just like you would on your desktop. And then a second type of storage as a service program would be iCloud from Apple. And what that does is integrate all of Apple's products together so that if you download an application on one device, it'll save it onto another one, and you can work all together. And even if you download a song, it'll just pull that song onto any device, and it's mobile. That's the best part about it. Now, the second type of cloud service is the software as a service. And now these are all just, it's different programs that are available through cloud-based services, such as, this is actually software as a service. It's called Prezi. And so Morgan and I can work on it. She can work on it from her desk, from her laptop, and I can work on it from my computer. And we can share information. We don't have to be in the same room, same city, same country, wherever. We can work on it wherever we're at, which is the best part. So software as a service includes programs such as accounting, collaboration tools, even word processing services. So one example of that would be a program called Asana, which is a schedule and planning tool. So Bob could potentially use Asana to schedule events or deadlines with his team. If there's any projects due, he can upload the date that it's due, the time that it's due on Asana, and that way his entire team is already aware of what the requirements are. And then also, HP offers its own cloud service, and it works well for both average users as well as advanced users. So average users can use it as a storage, as a service device. They can upload their own data, keep it on there, and just kind of, that's really all they really need to do if they're not doing anything more. But if there are advanced users that want to use it, HP allows them to develop their own applications, games, programs, even websites, and they can store all that information on the cloud. And then the coolest part about that is that HP will also allow them to test any of their applications before they ever reach the customer. So HP offers a pretty good amount of cloud services to the customer as it is. So these two concepts can help Bob in two different ways, because Bob can use the scheduler to help his team figure out, what their demands are, what the deadlines are, and then he can also use it to help his customers out. Because if HP were to integrate some sort of scheduling and planning service into the HP cloud, then maybe the customer could keep track of whenever their ink level runs dry on their printer. That way they can kind of keep a schedule or keep a record of that, and maybe forecast when their ink levels dry up, so you're not sitting at the printer at 11 at night and you just run out of ink. So you kind of plan on that. Also, it can help to tie all of HP's products together. So if you're looking up a problem on your smartphone, then maybe if you have a printer that has one of those LCD screens that can display any sort of images, then maybe that printer will recognize that you're searching it, and it can do one of the animation how-tos, one of the manuals, and just bring that up on the screen as you're doing it. So it's just kind of a neat way that maybe all of your services could tie into one another by using the cloud. So now Bob knows how cloud works.
So let's take a look at how the cloud is different from the internet, because they share a lot of similarities and it's a little confusing, but they are very different. Okay, so to make it easier, Bob, let's look at how they're similar first. Both require internet connection, so you have to have service through Verizon or Comcast, some service provider. And you also have to have a web browser for most cloud apps. And both allow users to access different types of content, but in different ways. The internet holds information on web pages. Users can find information about businesses, government, personal websites, blogs, things like that. But the cloud is different. The cloud uses the internet and a web browser, but users have to log into cloud service and they can upload their own content. They can store it, save it, share it. It can be public or private. Web pages are almost always general access. The cloud is not. You have to have a username to get into a cloud system. The cloud uses several servers to back up data, so your data is safe. You don't have to worry about your hard drive crashing or losing your flash drive because it's backed up already. And it's mobile, so you can access it anywhere. The data in the cloud is typically the user's own content. It's not usually something they pull from the web, though they could pull a HP manual and put it on their cloud system if they were going to use it a lot. But that's not typically how it's used.
So
to sum it up, the internet is best for finding documents, finding solutions to problems, looking for content on HP's website, for example. And it's still better for company to consumer relationships. The company can control what's on their web page. They can control what the user can access and things like that. But the cloud has a lot of benefits too. The cloud's best for storing personal data, collaborating on documents with teammates. You can both access documents at the same time or upload new documents, and they can pull it, edit it, put it back. And it's also good for sharing data, not just with your teammates, but you can upload pictures, videos, share it with family or friends. Or if you're students, you can share it with your professor. And you can also make, the best point is it makes data portable. You don't have to worry about losing that little flash drive or your computer crashing. You can access it anywhere you can access the internet.
all right, so now going back to Bob's problem about how to best serve the customer as far as accessing help manuals, which are right now in the PDF form. So Bob needs to do some research and find out how customers would best be served by it. So if they're going to use the internet, what we found is mostly that people will just go on the internet, probably use a search engine, type in the keyword or specific set of words of what their problem is, and then search it from there, or possibly just go to HP's website and search it from there. And so all that information is already available on HP's website, or they can use forms that are on the web, on the internet. Anything that the search terms pop up, they can use. As far as the cloud is concerned, if there isn't any information in the user's cloud, then it's simply not there. So what they would have to do is do an initial search for the documents anyway, and then they could save them and then upload them for later use if they really wanted to. So if they use a manual often, then they might want to look into storing that content on their own cloud server. And then Bob's other problem is how to use customer support. So for the internet, a customer would probably just go to HP's website, they would look for the little help button, click it, and then they'd be given a series of options whether they want to do a live chat or call HP's website, or call HP's help desk, or they could even use the blogs, or they could email customer service as well. For the cloud, again, the data's not on there already, so they'd have to find it, put it on there, and then that's really all they can do. So either way, they're searching already. One thing we thought about maybe they could do is anybody with a cloud registration could get sort of like a preferential treatment and maybe get like a gold club membership, and you have access to the customer support, and that's the only way that you can actually get the live support. So that's just one idea of how the cloud could be used to kind of maybe cancel out a little bit of that customer support services that you're providing right now. And then as far as Bob and his team of technical writers, if they're going to use the internet to collaborate on a document, then the biggest, or probably the most easiest way for them on the internet is using email. Just send it back and forth. Bob will send the document he's working on to employee A, and then employee A will work on it, send it back to Bob, and then he'll send it on. So it's just a series of emails, and Bob's got to respond to all of them. He's got to work on everything. He's got to make sure it